que está pasando allá ahorita es un problema político, social y económico.
Venezuela is in the worst economic crisis in decades. As poverty and unemployment rise, opposition protesters clash on a near daily basis with government forces.
Porque hemos caído en muchos problemas por comida, por escasez, que la gente se pelea por una comida que consigue en la calle. Estamos muy mal. Y una de las mejores que vimos oportunidades fue aquí en Estados Unidos, en California.
Gabby is part of a larger migration of Venezuelans fleeing hardship and persecution at home. According to the UNHCR, 52,000 Venezuelans have sought asylum since unrest began 10 years ago.
La decisión más triste de un inmigrante es salir de su país, pisar por última vez el aeropuerto. Eso es para mí el dolor más grande que yo he sentido. Sentir que ya sabes que no puedes regresar.
However, not only is Gabby fleeing economic hardship, she is fleeing because of something much more personal. Gabby is gay, and she has been persecuted in Venezuela for her sexual orientation.
Era el comportamiento que hacían un grupo de trabajadores y te hacían cosas como, ¿lo puedo decir? Como dejar pantaletas llenas de pupú en el baño, como sabotear el trabajo, dañar los equipos.
Gabby and her girlfriend fled to the U.S. last year and sought asylum, but instead of applying as a political refugee, she chose a different path. Gabby and her girlfriend are part of a growing number of LGBT asylum seekers from Latin America.
Applying for asylum is a very hard decision to make.
Margarita Sanchez works at the National Center for Lesbian Rights, the organization helping Gabby and her girlfriend apply for asylum.
For Venezuela, there's a current political climate that oppresses its citizens in general, but specifically LGBT people are now seeking an escape from all of that. LGBT people who suffer a lot of discrimination based on that aspect of their identity now have additional pressures coming from the government, from police, that force them to seek options and seek refuge from all of that violence happening.
To gain asylum, Gabby and her girlfriend Wendy need to prove that they were harassed for being gay. She submitted a letter to her therapist detailing her trauma.
Dice que Irma inicia problemática actual hace un mes aproximadamente posterior a un conflicto laboral iniciado con un compañero de trabajo, recibiendo agresiones de tipo verbal y persecución.
Although Gabby was able to get out, she has a message for LGBT people still struggling in Venezuela today.
Me encantaría decirle que salieran de mi país para poder experimentar cosas normales como la puede experimentar uno fuera de su país. Y paciencia, que ojalá algún día todo mejore, pero por ahora que el que pueda salir, que salga. Porque no va a cambiar.
Aquí está ella con sus amigas cuando se reúne. Aquí ella es. Ahí está ella, ¿ve?
Jorge Ramos and his wife Sylvia have not seen their daughter Bonnie in 20 years. Bonnie is back in El Salvador, more than 3,000 miles away from her parents, who live in California. They decided to immigrate to the United States for financial reasons and made the difficult decision to leave her behind.
Y entonces pues no me la pude traer y ya pues traérmela con otra gente y todos esos tantos casos que hemos oído con las noticias, que las violan y todo eso. Y como ella era hembra, entonces mejor preferimos que se quedara allá con mi familia. Y pues siempre con el propósito de que algún día los íbamos a reunir.
This is an incredibly dangerous situation.
That opportunity finally came in 2014 when the Obama administration created the Central American Minors Program, known as CAM. CAM allowed for children of certain immigrants to reunite with their parents in the United States. Bonnie finally received her letter of approval this year and was set to travel to California in August.
The effect of this unilateral.
But then, without warning, the Trump administration canceled the CAM program.
Families are just absolutely shocked. They were absolutely shocked by this happening.
Lisa Friedman is the vice president of Kids in Need of Defense in San Francisco.
You know, some families had paid for their children to have medical exams. All of them had had DNA testing. Children had spent money to get passports, to get letters of authorization from parents. You know, these are families who had been separated for years and years and years and had so much hope that they were going to be back together, parent and child.
Recibí una llamada yo en agosto diciéndome que pues que se había cancelado el programa de Bani, porque Bani ya estaba supuestamente para entrar a fines de agosto, porque ya estaba su boleto pagado y todo.
Thousands of children like Bani, who had already been approved to travel to the United States, were left stranded in their home countries. Their only option is to appeal and apply for refugee status.
These are going to be really, really tough to file because they have to be in English and they have to raise either the legal grounds of the error, you know, that actually I do qualify as a refugee and the U.S. government failed to analyze my case correctly, or, you know, that there was an error in the interview, like I was saying, or that there's new evidence.
Hace 3 años.
For now, the Ramos family is still hopeful, but their situation grows more uncertain every day.
Yo la quisiera tener aquí conmigo, pero lastimosamente no se puede. Pero ahí estamos. Me duele mucho. Pero no pierdo la fe. Algún día va a estar aquí con nosotros.
Here at Oakland's Center for Empowering Refugees and Immigrants, visitors are turning to body movement courses to help cope with pre-migration traumas.
I love their energy, really positive energy. They're so lovely and we just love each other. They are a perfect group of ladies. Zumba is really happy. The music makes a big difference on everybody. Even if we don't dance exactly like we're supposed to, but it makes you feel so happy and relaxed. Sometimes they look a little depressed. And as soon as we start dancing and they start feeling the music and move, I can see a really nice smile on their face. So I think it makes them feel happier.
Staff at the center have worked to provide mental health services and wellness activities for over 1,000 refugees and immigrants, most of whom are Cambodian.
Probably about 90% of our clients have post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, which means that they have a lot of flashbacks of the events that happened to them. They have a lot of hypervigilance, meaning that they often startle or they're worried about things or worried that the harm may come to them. Many of them have depression, and many of them have like lack of motivation, and then isolation.
Experts have also noted that mental health-related issues can have significant effects on physical health.
Our bodies hold memories, and for PTSD, our bodies hold the memories in certain kinds of ways, and it can make us feel restricted and that's so important to move. I can say that there is a lot of research done on physical health and mental health and how they're linked, and that oftentimes being able to like move your body and physically, that really helps the endorphins and helps you with your serotonin level, and so that can decrease depression. And then we just see it. We see that our clients oftentimes when they move a lot, they're happier.
For Vanny Loon, an immigrant from Cambodia, these weekly Zumba classes help her cope with vivid memories from the Cambodian genocide.
Feel so happy. Feel I'm not alone. I have a friend and so happy. Shaking, dancing. Yeah, don't think about anything else.
A lot of our clients have diabetes, about 85% of our clients. Some of it was because of, probably torture and deprivation of water and food for lots of periods of time. But I also do believe that because of the stress of everything that they've been through, that they're more likely to develop high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes are the big ones we see. And many of our folks have those. Probably, I want to say 80% of our clients have those conditions. And that there is an earlier death rate for folks that survive trauma.
A recent report estimated 5,000 Cambodian refugees in Alameda County. The county is currently implementing a 10 by 10 rule. It's trying to raise the death rate by 10 years over the next 10 years through both physical and mental health services.
I totally recommend Zumba to anybody who's sad for any reason, or even just feeling tired. If you will join Zumba, it makes you feel so much better. You regain your energy, definitely.
Last month, members of the local Eritrean community marched to San Francisco City Hall to raise awareness of a rare protest in the East African nation. The Eritrean government had attempted to ban religion in schools. A member of a Muslim school board, 93-year-old Haji Musa Mohammed Nur, spoke out. Nur was arrested, and soon after, protesters gathered outside the school and around the capital of Asmara. They were allegedly met with gunfire, and videos of the event quickly circulated online. An opposition group claimed up to 28 people were killed and 100 injured. The Eritrean government refuted the claim that anyone had been killed. Protesters in San Francisco urged Congress to advocate for Nur and publicly reprimand Eritrea. Elected officials did not respond. Nebiat Nagasi was one of the protesters in San Francisco. For her, activism runs in the family. Her father fought in the wars against Ethiopia for independence, then against Eritrea's authoritarian regime, which later banned him from the country.
Well, I think from the beginning, my dad has been active all this time, since 1972. Fighting for independence then, and then fighting for justice and freedom now. So I have been essentially active all my life.
But Nagasi's political views aren't the majority among Bay Area Eritreans. She says strong views about what's happening in Eritrea have affected her relationships with other immigrants.
A lot of the events outside of the christening or weddings, all the big events are hosted either for the government or by the government. So I didn't feel like I not only feel, but I have decided I wasn't going to be part of that.
Still, she's hopeful that things can change.
My thinking is, as Eritrean, we are one. So we should be able to think country first, affiliation second, because we need to make sure that our country survives as a country.
Within the UC Berkeley student body, there is a group of 500 students who attend the institution without any legal status or documents. Until September 2016, 400 of these students had DACA status. Yongbin Chen, originally from South Korea, is a senior at UC Berkeley, one of the 400 DACA students attending the institution. Chen is part of a smaller group of Asian undocumented students for which the number sits at 27% as of now.
We're feeling really nervous because I didn't really know what to expect from a college university in the U.S. And the undocumented student program contacted me and said hey, if you have any questions, contact us. And this person was a Cambodian person who he was the director. He was a Cambodian director who was in charge of the undocumented student program. And everything I'd known at this point was a very Latinx kind of dominated narrative. And so for me, that was the first time I realized oh, I'm not alone in this, right? Because I was the first person who wasn't my parents was undocumented. So it's a very intersectional lens of being a Korean and undocumented student. And a lot of these supports were initially guided for folks who either spoke Spanish as their main language, were coming from a Latinx background, Guatemalan backgrounds, et cetera, et cetera. I think there's a lot of difficulty as to where do I fit in this, right? Because it's a very intersectional piece.
So why exactly is there not enough visibility and support for the Asian community? We went and spoke to the director of the Latino Policy Research Center on campus about it.
I think in part that's because Trump has sort of highlighted, has sort of put his finger on the Latino, on the Mexican. How he doesn't say anything about Chinese undocumented? That's very interesting, I think. But in any case, he's demonized a particular segment of the undocumented population. And so that's probably why Trump has made us visible.
The East Bay Sanctuary Covenant works with the undocumented community around East Bay, assisting them with legal cases. Shuri Akamito, director of the DACA program at the sanctuary, thinks that this invisibility does not just exist within UC Berkeley.
We barely see Asians in the office. Among our DACA clients, we have about 1,000. I would say maybe out of 1,000, 15 are non-Latinos, and all others are non-Latinos. So that's the stats that I'm seeing in my work. First of all, then, widely talked about is the cultural sense of, shame of being undocumented. And I do know that sense because I'm Asian. I was born and raised in Japan. And also I was undocumented before. So I really know it's not, you feel like you're doing something wrong.
While these individuals keep working to explain the invisibility of the Asian undocumented community, there is work yet to be done in the area. For UC Berkeley, this is Javeria Khan.
Oakland Chinatown is one of the oldest Chinatowns in the United States, but is facing challenges.
Our biggest challenge now, of course, is crime. Car windows broken all the time.
According to the Oakland Police Department, there have been over 2,500 auto burglaries so far this year in the area, which includes Chinatown. This is nearly a 30% increase from last year. That's why many people park their cars in garages rather than streets. John runs a parking lot in the Pacific Renaissance Plaza, a commercial real estate in Chinatown. He tries to keep the place safe.
My garage not only have people there, we have police station, we have 24-hour security guard, we have our parking attendants have golf cart driving around, and even with all that, we have almost eliminated within our project. But once it's outside,
Oakland Police Department has assigned 2 police officers who focus on Chinatown in their foot patrol unit.
We try to educate the people, right, the community, basically not to leave anything valuable or visible in their vehicle.
Another big concern in Chinatown is robbery towards seniors. There have been around 460 robberies this year in the area, which includes Chinatown. That's why seniors gather every month at Neighborhood Crime Prevention Council meeting, known as NCPC.
We are the first in the city to provide bilingual, with Chinese, and so that people in this area can come to our meeting and tell us their concerns. So we are here to serve the residents businesses and those who are coming to the community here.
Whenever the meeting is held, a community resource officer at Oakland Police Department comes and shares recent crime data and arrest cases, while a bilingual police officer provides interpretation in Cantonese.
I think it's very important for the seniors to be here. Many times the victims being targeted are seniors, so they are the most vulnerable people in our communities.
Asians are smaller in stature. Chinatown have a lot of older people. They know Asians usually have cash, have jewelry.
People say that they need more police patrols in the area.
Yes, they would like to see us more out here. So, because I only work Tuesday to Friday, a lot of the business are like, they wish that we would be out here on the weekend too, right? So, yeah, so more police present would be good.
We want to make sure that one crime is too much already, so it doesn't matter how much. We just want to make sure that we'll keep everyone safe until there's no crime. And hopefully this is our goal, but it's not easy, but we're trying.
Melrose Leadership Academy is the only K through 8th grade bilingual school in Oakland. The California Department of Education didn't always support bilingual programs. For 20 years, Proposition 227 required California schools to use English only. The idea behind 227 was that English learners would learn better in English-only schools. 40% of students at Melrose Leadership are English learners.
Amigos, ¿están de acuerdo, sí o no? Sí. Excelente. Un aplauso para Adrián.
I have a student who is a newcomer. She is so incredibly bright and lovely and just has really blossomed just in this short time being in school. There was a time recently where I had to step out of the classroom. I came back for the last hour of the day, and she was just in tears. I realized that it was because her whole day had been in English. And it was really devastating for her to not be able to participate and not understand what's going on. I think if we create these programs, we can make sure that all children feel happy and successful and safe.
A Stanford study found that students who were taught in 2 languages had better long-term academic outcomes than students taught in only English.
Que un electroimán.
And so you kind of have to wait a little bit because they're usually behind in English for a lot of elementary school. But then by the time they get to middle school, they're really strong in both languages.
Last November, California voters passed Proposition 58, which repealed 227. So for the first time in 2 decades, schools can teach English learners and native speakers using bilingual programs.
I think that it's really important for everybody to learn a language. And the thing that I really see a lot in most dual language schools is that it brings together kids from such a wide range of communities, and I don't see that happening in a lot of schools that are not dual language.
Although Prop 58 supports dual language, Oakland is facing multi-million-dollar budget cuts. Plus, amidst a chronic teacher shortage, finding bilingual teachers is an even greater challenge.
Vamos a ver.
Smadar Levy moved to Treasure Island in 2012 after relocating from Minnesota.
The views of the Bay Area from here are completely sublime.
Now, after 6 years of living there, she is facing eviction.
There was a sign on my door, notice to quit. No cause was spelled out. I didn't understand the least when I moved here. Only as I started living here and talking to neighbors, only then did I gradually started to realize what I have gotten into. The management did everything to conceal from me the fact that I am actually going to live on a military radiated zone.
Treasure Island is a former Navy base. It housed ships that were exposed to radiation during nuclear tests in the Pacific in 1947. The Navy used the base to train students how to detect and decontaminate radiation up until the 1990s. A report by the Center for Investigative Reporting showed that the Navy failed to meet safety standards on multiple occasions. Now the area is being redeveloped with new housing and parks.
I live on what's called Zone 12. Zone 12 is so polluted that it's not going to have any buildings in the development. They're going to make here a park.
In 2013, the California Department of Public Health conducted tests of Zone 12 and found above normal radiation levels. But the Treasure Island Development Authority, the public agency in charge of developing the island, determined there were no health risks.
As long as the land wasn't dug and churned for the development and there were no particles flying, the radiation was declared higher than usual, okay for adults, and dangerous for children and puppies. I'm really worried about my dog.
In 2014, the Center for Investigative Reporting conducted their own tests and found a radioactive element 3 times higher than what the Navy had reported, prompting further testing and cleanup. Despite the pollution, the city of San Francisco is going ahead with plans for large-scale housing.
It's my body that gives me life, and I am afraid about exposing my body to all of these pollutants. But gradually, like many other people, I developed a denial mechanism in order for me to live the everyday. We filed an opposition to the eviction in state court.
About 2,000 residents are facing eviction. Those who have lived on the island for more than 6 years are entitled to compensation or space in the new development. But about 200 households get nothing, including Levy. Despite the polluted past, she is fighting her eviction.
Yeah, I love this place. I hope they'll clean it up. It's beautiful, quiet, and convenient.
Cleanup and development are expected to be complete by 2022.
The harvest season is coming to an end in Watsonville, California. The last strawberries have been picked, and the 100 families living in the Buena Vista migrant camp are getting ready to move away. California's 26 migrant camps provide safe and affordable housing for migrant farm workers, but they have to move at least 50 miles away at the end of the season in order to live there.
He trabajado piscando fresa por 26 años y tengo aquí viviendo ya por 20 años. Salimos de aquí noviembre 30, entramos el 1 de mayo. Aquí es la cocina, aquí para guardar la comida. Y un cuarto para dormir. Una renta en Watsonville es muy cara y con lo que nosotros ganamos no alcanzaríamos a pagar una renta en el pueblo.
Araceli makes less than $14,000 a year, pricing her out of the Watsonville market.
Aquí un apartamento de 3 recámaras es $372 por mes. Aquí no pagas luz, no pagas gas. Por esa razón estamos muy a gusto aquí.
This cheap housing does come with a cost. Migrant children have to change schools every year, and according to a poll by Human Agenda, the high school dropout rate for them is 90%.
Some of the farm workers that I interviewed have children that go to 4 schools in 2 languages and 2 cultures every year. As far as I know, there has not been a single graduation in 20 years out of 104 families that live in the Buena Vista migrant camp.
Araceli's kids did graduate, but they had to be sent away.
Tengo 4 hijos y la tercera, mi hija, se tuvo que quedar en Shafter para poder graduar, pero ella ya no regresó aquí al campo, ya se quedó allá.
In December 2016, the Center for Farm Worker Families spearheaded a petition to allow families with children to keep living in the same school district every year. It was rejected, so now they're working with state legislators instead.
All we're asking is that parents have the option of staying in the school district where their kids go to school for the entire school year. The best case scenario would be to allow people to stay here all year long because the same families come back.
But others say that changing the 50-mile rule would pit two farm worker groups against each other.
When the farm workers who we represent learned that there was a proposal to change that rule, they recognized immediately that that would mean they were no longer migrants, essentially, because any farm worker then would be eligible to live in the housing. The result of proposing a change to eligibility rules for the OMS centers is that you have farm workers essentially fighting over the scraps of an inadequate supply of decent, affordable housing.
Nos sacrificamos nosotros por estar trabajando en el campo para que ellos logren graduarse y nosotros también queremos que ellos tengan pues un buen futuro. No queremos que sigan también en el trabajo del campo como nosotros.
State Assemblywoman Ana Caballero has drafted a bill to eliminate the 50-mile rule. It's currently making its way through the California Senate, so migrant workers will have to wait until next year to hear what happens. For Araceli and her family, that means packing their things and making the long drive back to Mexico until May.
At the time that it was court order, I was not ready to remove my tattoos. For me now, thinking back, it was very important that I don't have these tattoos no more because I can walk freely anywhere. I can go to any park with my kids and not be targeted because of my tattoos.
The Central American Resource Center, or CARICEN, in the heart of San Francisco's Mission District, hosts the city's only free tattoo removal clinic. Bahena, who is a case manager at CARICEN, grew up in the Mission District and was involved in gangs. At 16 years old, she was put on probation and court-ordered to get her tattoos removed.
They were visible. They were gang-related. So then they sent me here at CARICEN. I realized that I needed to take charge of my life and just do like kind of something positive. Not only am I a mother now, but I also work with the community. Okay. Entonces esto es como un contrato. Ya lo sabemos, entonces ya nada más me firmas aquí.
Tattoo removal can cost hundreds of dollars per treatment, and most removals require multiple sessions. This makes it unaffordable for low-income youth and adults. Free tattoo removal gives those with tattoos that may put them at personal risk or prevent them from being hired a second chance.
So most of our clients are removing bad choice tattoos, whether those are gang-related tattoos or also just generally bad choice tattoos, like things that maybe they got when they were younger and they made bad decisions about what they wanted, or locations that are really obvious that may be preventing people from getting employment or getting into education programs or whatnot.
Taniguchi is a nurse practitioner with the San Francisco Department of Public Health. She's been doing tattoo removal at the CARICEN clinic for 10 years. The clinic is a partnership between DPH and CARICEN.
It is not a painless procedure, and so I'm always surprised that patients continue to come back and are dedicated to doing this for themselves. How did it go last time?
It went great.
Okay, no blisters.
No.
Did it get a little itchy?
To go through this program and now be able to work and like do the job that's one day somebody did for me, it means a lot.
It's not just about employment or stigma, it's also about trauma. It's about rites of passage in terms of removing physical markings that may represent a period of your life that you want to leave behind. And while tattoos are way more socially accepted, I think that there's still a lot of stigma and prejudice towards brown and young people of color who have tattoos. So we feel that tattoo removal is one piece of the restorative justice pathway.
Imad Hashemi is a 26-year-old political refugee from Iran. He's lived in the United States since 2013. The members of his band, Penta, were all born in Iran, but now live in the Bay Area.
I was my voice, but I was the voice of a lot of students, not only myself. We had a group that name was Students Seeking for Democracy. I was the president of that group. We don't be quiet and start to demonstrate and make problem for the government.
The 2009 presidential elections in Iran caused massive political unrest. Imad became a student leader and organized demonstrations at his university. He was arrested, imprisoned, and tortured by Iran's intelligence agency. After agents raided his parents' home, he fled to Turkey. He spent 15 months living in limbo, but was eventually resettled by the United Nations.
Honestly, I still can remember every second of the time that I was in the bus and just going around day one. I was just looking all the view that I had in the bus, and just several times repeated by myself, maybe it's gonna be your last time. I go back, see my countries again, but not in this kind of situation and this kind of government. And I'm not able to get back, because when I get back, I'm just arrested and lots of problems.
In January 2017, President Trump signed an executive order that has come to be known as the travel ban. Iran is one of 6 Muslim-majority nations on the list of affected countries. As Penta prepare to play their biggest concert yet, the Iranian community in the United States is increasingly isolated.
Yeah, the travel ban's a problem for those on. My parents cannot be here. All these guys, the parents, no one can be here. It's not easy for Iranian to be in the United States now. The visa process is really hard, and take lots of time to background check or something, and after that the travel ban said no one can come inside, and it's really hard for them. Only the Persian community is here. Our friends is gonna be here tonight, and all the other Persians in community. And we all feel that our parents is not here. We love to see our parents in the audience and feel that they are proud of us, that we did the thing that we love.
This is my first attempt in small business entrepreneurship. So it's just been 2 months. I'm doing okay. It's kind of stressful, but still I'm hoping I'll do great in the future days. Hey brother, how you doing? How you doing, brother? We are new, grand opening. I can offer you pretty good price.
How much are your pipes?
Which one? Just let me know. I will offer you good price, man. I am originally from Nepal. Nepal has one kind of privilege to get into United States. That is called diversity visa. It's called like DV, lottery. And United States, they randomly select the people. One of my friends, he just say, hey, let's go and apply. and actually we both applied and I got selected. When I was in Nepal, just like American dream, man. Like people who are outside of America, they think America is great. People make money very fast. Once you are here, the story is different. I used to work in international organization. I work for Save the Children USA. I work for Room to Read Nepal. But when I come over here, my degree is not recognized here. I applied in so many jobs, but not selected. Now I started from bottom. I think now I'm in just one step up. I have to do a lot. You play that game?
Yeah,
It's a crazy game, right?
I get bored at work.
Yeah, I know. I quit with that game.
How much is it?
It's 322. It's like keep playing, right?
Yep, all day.
أكتر سؤال بسأل حالي هلأ هو إنه إمتى رح فتح عيوني بدون ما أركض ألبس بسرعة لأطلع على الشغل أو الكلية وهيك، بدون ما أكون قلقانة إنه عندي مليون شغلة بدي أخلصها. إنه إمتى رح فتح عيوني لاقي إنه استقرينا بحياتنا. اسمي بتول رواس، أنا من دمشق من سوريا، عمري 19 سنة هلأ وعم بدرس طالبة دوام كامل ببيركلي سيتي كوليج وبشتغل بنفس الوقت بكوفي شوب هون ببيركلي بتطوع أوقات مع منظمة اسمها Refugee Transitions.
Batul is a refugee, one of thousands of Syrians who lost everything back home. When her family resettled in Auckland in 2015, they had high hopes of rebuilding their lives. But the transition has been more difficult than they expected.
يعني نحن كنا قبل ما نجي نتوقع إنه ما بعرف كيف أوصفها، إنه الحياة هون كتير رفاهية والحياة سهلة ومريحة وما عليك مضطرة إنه تتعبي كتير، لأنه هيك يعني نحن هيك تعودنا نشوفها بالتلفزيون بالأفلام أو أي شيء بيصوروه عن أمريكا. إذا أنتي برا أمريكا هيك هذا اللي بتشوفيه، بس لما بتيجي هون بتلاقي الواقع مختلف تماماً. يعني بتلاقي كل شيء صعب، ابتداءً من إنه تستأجري البيت لتدرسي وكله. يعني إنه إذا بدك تفوتي على الجامعة بدك تعبي وراء كتير، بدك تتعبي كتير. إذا بدك تستأجري بيت لحالها هي قصة تانية، غير إنه المعاملات الطبية كتير كمان معقدة بالميديكال والإنشورنس وكل هالقصص
Batul, who speaks English better than her family members, found herself under the pressure of working 5 days a week to support her parents, on top of being a full-time student.
صرنا سنتين ونحن عم نركض، يعني مو إنه عم نمشي، عم نركض ركض بالشغل والدراسة ما في مجال حتى إنه نقعد هيك شوي ونتنفس. إنه إمتى رح نوصل لهالمرحلة لما نحس حالنا عن جد استقرينا إنه نحن هي خلص إنه هي بلدنا ويعني ما في شيء نقلق بسببه. أو مثلا إمتى مثلا رح يهدى الوضع ببلدي يقدر أرجع أشوف أهلي أو أقل شيء زورهم.
In 2010, Pastor Reggie Lysias came to the United States for a visit. While he was here, an earthquake hit Haiti, killing 300,000 people and displacing more than 1 million.
When I was in Haiti, I had a good life. I used to be a principal of a school. I had 2 school buildings. Both of them were collapsed. That means everything I had destroyed completely.
After the earthquake, the United States designated Haiti for Temporary Protected Status, or TPS, meaning Haitians like Lysias who were already in the U.S. could stay here while Haiti recovered.
By applying for the TPS, and the previous administration accept me to stay here legally, work, that's changed my life significantly.
In addition to being a pastor, Lysias went to nursing school and works at medical facilities across the North Bay.
That's why I decided to stay to make a better life, to rebuild my life.
But now, Lysias could lose the life he's built all over again. The Trump administration announced last month it will terminate Haiti's protected status in July 2019, stripping 60,000 Haitians of their right to live and work in the United States. The decision to end protected status for Haitians has landed heavily on Lysias' congregation in Novato.
A lot of people now are talking about it, and they are afraid to get deported.
Some of them, they have kids, and born here, they don't know anything about Haiti.
They want to know if my friend's going to be still here next year. Are they going to have Christmas here?
Am I going to be okay? Will I need to live with my mom and dad?
Are they going to be here New Year? Are they going to be for my birthday?
What is it like to live in Haiti?
Since the earthquake in Haiti, life in Haiti is really like a hell.
Haitians with TPS have 2 options: go back to Haiti or stay here illegally.
I have 4 children. They're born here in U.S. They don't speak Creole. They don't speak French. They only speak English. They only know the American culture.
But if Lysias decides to stay, he'll lose his work permit and be vulnerable to deportation.
We're going to lose everything. So they're going to kick us out. We're not going to be able to work. We're not going to be able to pay our rent. We're not going to be able to provide our kids food.
With no good options, Lysias is hoping the Trump administration will reverse its decision and not terminate the program.
My plan is to stay in America, and I'm confident it's not going to be terminated. But if it is, it's just like game over for Haitian people.
It all started at the IHOP in Lodi.
I remember we were eating breakfast. It was just a normal day. We were going to go to church, and then we were going to go visit Santa Cruz for the first time as a family. As I was reversing out of the parking lot, I hear a knock on my window, and I look up and I see the ICE badge of like an officer. So then I look over, like I realize that there's like 2 officers in front of the car, 2 behind the car, and then there was an officer to my mom's side of the car. Immediately in my head, I thought that she was gonna get deported, like no doubt about it. And all I remember is my brother and sister crying in the back seat, and I just thought to myself, like, what am I going to do? I have 2 younger siblings to take care of. Like, how am I gonna take care of 2 little kids when I'm only 16 years old myself?
Jennifer Bravo is a high school senior. She's a U.S. citizen, but her parents are not. Jennifer is one of nearly 5 million American kids who have undocumented parents and part of 500,000 who were separated from a parent by detention or deportation between 2011 and 2013. Jennifer's father was deported to Mexico in 2012 when she was only 12 years old. Her mother, Florisa Ramos, who had been previously arrested for a DUI,
was apprehended in March. Since then, Jennifer has seen her mother only once. Her younger siblings are now in Mexico, and Jennifer moved in with her boyfriend's family while her mom is held at a private detention facility in Bakersfield. They talk daily on the phone.
I know, man, yo también te extraño. Cuídate mucho. Okay, bye.
We've seen a lot of situations where you have parents that are undocumented and at the same time U.S. citizen children. The system is kind of doubly failing them. Her father was already deported pretty unjustly, didn't get to speak to an attorney. Just one day he was picked up, the next day he was gone. And now she's kind of being re-traumatized by that whole thing.
Jennifer has attended all of her mother's hearings in San Francisco. This time, she got the rare chance to see her mom via video teleconference.
Cada corte que me están dando, hasta la juez se queda sorprendida de cuánta gente está viniendo. Eso me alegra y me da ánimos para estar día a día aquí contando los días del calendario y pues por verlas.
Vamos a seguir adelante, ¿ok?
Jennifer hopes to see her mom released on bail by the holidays.
Un abrazo grande.
But if the judge determines that she is a danger to the community, she won't be home for Christmas. She will be deported to Mexico, and Jennifer will continue to have to fend for herself.